Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock, let's go over the market, let's talk about what is happening to Tesla stock, what we can expect moving forward, and all of that good stuff. So as per usual, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you do enjoy this video, my technical analysis, my thoughts, my updates in the charts, etc., but you want it more often and especially while the market is trading, well, I do have a YouTube membership. That link is down below in the description of the video. For just $3 a month, you get access to all my posts, updates, thoughts, etc., mainly on Tesla stock for the $3 tier. Sometimes other stocks. Obviously, with Tesla pretty much tanking now, I'm obviously mainly focused on Tesla. Or for $5 a month, you get access to everything in the first year, so Tesla plus other stocks every now and then as well. But you also get access to NVIDIA daily updates, arguably even like hourly or bi-hourly updates constantly as the market is trading. Again, just $5 a month for that tier if you're interested. But jumping into it, Tesla closing the day. They had another red day, closing almost pretty much 4% on the day, closing at pretty much $290 per share, which obviously compared to the market is going to be yet another little bit of an underperformance as Tesla just continues tanking very aggressively. And today I'll be showing you a few pretty interesting things. Let me go ahead and bring out something here very quickly. Go ahead and bring out this. I should have set this up, but this will take literally 2 seconds. It's pretty interesting stat that I think is worth mentioning. I'll bring that up in a bit. But yeah, so what does this mean for Tesla, right? Moving forward. Well, Tesla stock, as usual, not having a good day. But you have to understand this, right? Again, if you're someone that's, holding Tesla, investing in Tesla, trading Tesla, if you're even, if you're in any shape or way involved in Tesla stock, you have to understand the stock is volatile. It's a volatile stock. This thing moves up and down, right? Whether it's Elon's fault or whether it's not Elon's fault, right? I mean, that's a whole different story ultimately, but it is a volatile stock. Whenever the stock is uptrending very aggressively, everyone thinks it's the second coming of Jesus Christ. Whenever it's falling, everyone thinks the company's done. It's over. It's going to zero. Take your money out while you can. It happens every time. Again, I've been following this stock for several years now, and this happens every time, right? It's just part of the process. Kind of is what it is. So, but now that we're down here, right? Tesla's at a very interesting level now. We're finally at a level where I can start confidently saying that, yeah, I'm not going to say we bottomed today, but we're now in the range where, man, if there's a place to actually form and find the bottom, this is it. Again, I've been talking about this level for quite some time. I've been telling you guys for, a while now to mentally prepare yourself for, about 280-ish dollars per share. But we actually breached into the 280s briefly today, right? We did, even though we closed just above $290. But this is a crucial level, and for many, many reasons. Now, obviously, it doesn't have to bottom. I'm not saying that it for sure is going to find a bottom here. I mean, technically, things can get even worse. But if there was a very, very good, powerful, high percentage likelihood chance of an area to find and develop a bottom, we're pretty much there / a little bit lower. We'll go over all that right now. So let's talk about it, right? We have NVIDIA earnings coming out soon. Could potentially affect Tesla for better or for worse. But starting off with the daily. So let's just get the obvious things out of the way. First and foremost, we have the Bollinger Bands. Well below the Bollinger Bands, hugging the bottom end of the Bollinger Bands. If I bring up my other bands over here, you can see we're well below to the red line. Whenever a stock like Tesla or really any mega cap stock, if it ever gets to the bottom of the red line, kind of like what Amazon did, you can see Amazon got to the bottom of the red line here. It took a couple of days. It didn't, not instantly, but you can see Amazon, for instance, right, got to the bottom of the red line, and then it finally formed a pretty decent, what looks to be, a nice contender for a potential bottom from Amazon with this beautiful hammer candle yesterday. But the point I'm trying to make is whenever a mega cap like a Mag 7 stock ever gets to the red line, again, that doesn't mean it bottoms right then and there, but it's usually closer than not. Usually much closer than not. And Tesla's right there. Tesla is pretty much there once again. Even arguably closer than it was over here before we did get that small little bounce back to the mean reversion, which we're also pretty far away from. I will talk about that too. So that's number one. My bands are both very, very extremely oversold, right? Like to very extreme levels. That's number one. Number two, the channel, right? We've been talking about this descending channel for quite some time, right? And we talked about how, the worst case scenario is a move back down to that bottom of the channel, right? That is technically a possibility, right? We always mention this. And even back when we were still over here, I talked about it. Yeah, maybe, 370s is kind of the level I'd want to see. But ultimately, as long as we're within this descending channel, and you can go back to those videos, what's a stock going to do in a descending channel while it's within the descending channel? descend, right? It's going to continue descending. Sometimes it's obviously going to happen pretty aggressively like this. It doesn't have to happen this aggressively. We could have, easily kind of bounced up a little bit slower. This could happen in many ways. But the point is the fact that the overall trend remains to be down, descending. We're descending. We're in a descending channel. There's no reason to assume we'll move up anything meaningfully higher while we remain in this. And that's kind of what I've been saying for quite some time, especially when we're all the way up here. Again, go back to those videos. So the point I'm trying to make is the fact that we are now at the other end of the descending channel. I wouldn't say, again, I'm not drawn to perfection here, so I'm not going to say it's, the bottom is in for sure, because, we have to remember, we could hug the bottom of this line, right? We could just kind of, bleed our way down a little bit further and make our way closer to 280, maybe even peek our heads into the 270s, right? That absolutely is a possibility. So let's, again, there's no reason to completely and utterly rush into it, not financial advice, just my opinion. But if there's a place to form, again, the fact that we're near the bottom end of this descending channel, that's a good sign. RSI, exceptionally oversold. Bands, oversold. Bottom channel. And as if that wasn't enough, sometimes going just to the basics of technical analysis, which is simple supply, demand, support, resistance, etc., we're now approaching, I'm going to go on the monthly, it looks even better. Actually, no, we'll talk about the weekly first. We are approaching that crucial level. Remember this level that we resisted us several times? I still remember talking about this when we had this rocket up here. It was somewhere around here. I still remember talking about how I would be genuinely shocked if Tesla at some point does not come back down to retest this level. Why? Because usually when a level, again, I'm not saying this right now, and this is the first time. Go back to the videos back here. Like, I don't know which one it was, but you can go back and scan through all of them if you care enough. I've mentioned this many times. When an area on a large time frame, especially in this case the weekly or monthly or whatever, daily, the point is the fact that even on the weekly, this is a large one. When an area like this gave us this much resistance and this much issue, right, before finally breaking out, which is good, it's extremely uncommon to eventually not come back and retest that area. It's very uncommon. Now, obviously, sometimes it can happen quick. We could have easily had this breakout, come back down, and then moved up. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, like this one, right? You don't know how long it'll take. But at some point or another, it's extremely common for that to happen. And we're pretty much there. Now, I wouldn't say we're done. Like I said, I don't want to say this is the bottom, but we are now starting to approach the area where, kind of like back here, where I was, telling everyone, hey, I know everyone's saying 600 is next and everyone's excited, but I'd be careful. I'd be careful, right? I would be careful. I'm pretty much the opposite here now, right? This is where I'm starting to be like, hey, everyone's actually scared now. Everyone thinks Tesla is going to go to zero. Everyone's bearish. But this is the time where, again, just my opinion. I mean, things can get uglier. Things can fall apart. Things can get hideously ugly. Maybe we break below this level and this doesn't even end up being a support, right? Again, trading is all probability. But this should be that area. This should be a very, very, very strong area of support for, at the very least, a bounce. Again, it's hard to say this will be like literally the bottom. I mean, I think the only way to determine this will be like potentially the bottom is a breakout of this daily, descending channel that could, at the very least give us a midterm bottom for like several months. But until that happens, again, be careful. But this area is just a very good area. If there was a place for us to finally stop this aggressive, selling pressure and really start finding some buyers, really slow down this bleeding, and even start looking for potential way back up, we're pretty much there. We're very close, if not there, right? So essentially what I'm saying is this 290 level, I mean, technically as high as 300, obviously 300 is on the upper end of it, but to as low as about 270. This kind of, 30, we'll say 20, 30-ish dollar range is a very, 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 very large area of support. Mainly because, again, in the past, just sometimes it can be this simple. It gave us substantial, very large, massive resistance. Now, I know everyone in the comments below is going to tell me I'm a fool. It's going to zero. It's going to 150. Tesla's done. Elon's done. Everything is done. Company's done. I already know I'll get these comments because I got the exact opposite comments up here and everyone was telling me the exact opposites. This is how these things usually happen. Just like everyone on NVIDIA was telling me on the daily chart back here, DeepSeek is going to take over, or, NVIDIA's done, NVIDIA's going to, whatever. And the same way everyone was telling me here that NVIDIA's going to 160 and we ended up falling pretty, nicely. Sentiments is a good indicator. Most people, and again, I'm not perfect. I'm definitely, someone that's trying to always improve, but most people are sheep. They just follow the price, they follow the herd. And when everyone's scared, they're scared. When everyone's excited, they're excited. If price is up, they're excited. If price is down, they're scared. That's just how these things work. But looking at it objectively, removing emotion, this area we're coming up on is a massive area. As high as 300, clearly we broke below that already, to as low as about, again, give or take 270-ish, right? That range is crucial. So let's see. Again, let's see how it plays out. If you're someone that's super safe and you just don't want to take any chances, and you only enter plays on like very high levels of confirmation, in my opinion, what I would be looking for is either at the very least a break back above 325, break back above the market daily bias, essentially. So essentially, turn this thing back to green, or the extra safe, like if you're super, super safe, is a break above this trend line and essentially breaking past this high, which kind of coincide roughly right now, sitting closer to about 360, give or take, of course. Let's say middle of March roughly. So yeah, watch for those levels. Let's see how this plays out. Let's see what happens. The weekly RSI is also getting oversold now. So let's see, right? Let's see what happens from here, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the volume, is starting to decrease. Like we had that massive, massive rally. And now, as we've been falling, the volume has overall been slowly decreasing, which I actually like. That is a good sign. So I know a lot of people are scared. People are freaking out. But again, I could be completely wrong. Maybe this thing does crater to 150. Who knows? But if I just look at it objectively with as little emotion as possible, it's hard for me to ignore the potential massive, like astronomical level of support that is on its way, especially when it combined with this trend line you can see here from these lows over here. So very large area of support we're coming in. Monthly also shows it pretty cleanly. You can see here, the monthly shows it pretty nicely. These ones I was kind of playing around with. I was not really sure how I look at those too much. But what I really care about the monthly is that it just shows this kind of area that's just cleaner that I was just talking about, right? Much, much cleaner. Look at this, right? It just, tell me this doesn't look just textbook, right? We're essentially reverting back to the mean on the monthly, right? Look how far away we were from the mean, essentially, if you will, on the monthly time frame. We were so far away from it. People up here were calling for 600. It's just lunacy to me, right? Crazy talk, in my opinion. NVIDIA looks like reported earnings. Ooh. But yeah, anyways, so we reverted back to the mean, which is nice. Where this really, really shows how this area was, of course, a massive area of resistance many times over, and now we're coming back into it as support, theoretically. And yeah, let's see how it reacts around here. This is the place for Tesla to start finding a pretty nice reaction across the board. So let's see what happens. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, as per usual, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.